Let's hear it for Jonathan Ingram. Let's hear it for Jan Leja. Let's hear it for Nathan Miller and the rest of your board. Let's hear it for everyone who's ever run for a Republican office in this area. Am I too close here? Oh, you're doing great. Although my voice is not quite as beautiful as yours is. Raise your hand if you ever ran for office, volunteered for a campaign, given money to a Republican candidate to help more Republicans get elected in California. Give all yourselves a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, I was born here in California. We have any California citizens in the room? Just a couple? We got any people here that were born here and raised here? Lived your whole life in California? Watched our state go from the greatest state in the nation to one that now has the highest homelessness, the highest poverty, the worst traffic, among the highest taxes, rampant public drug use, schools that used to be the best in the nation, now our kids are 46th and 47th in reading and math. And Gavin Newsom's first act as governor is to propose a water tax. This is the state we live in, ladies and gentlemen. This is our state. It has been taken over by the Democrats, and the only defense that we have is right here. It is all of you. It is the Republican Party in the state of California. There are people that will tell you the Republican Party is dead. They're former Republican leaders that will tell you the Republican Party is dead. I'll tell you right now, the Republican Party isn't dead. It might be on the table and it might be bleeding, but it's not dead. I'm going to prove this to you. There was an article that came out. It said, it was put out by a Republican leader. It said, because demographics were changing in California, that voter registration was going against Republicans. Because we are now a minority state, the decline in registration for Republicans has accelerated. And this person wrote in this article that that was the canary in the coal mine for all the other states, and they better pay attention because it was coming for them too. This sort of gloom and doom scenario essentially said, because of the color of somebody's skin or their ethnic group and the difference in their demographic population, the Republicans have no hope in California. I'm here to tell you something. The Republican Party is the party of Abraham Lincoln. We are the party that freed the slaves. We do not believe in identity politics of the left. We do not believe it matters the color of your skin, but the content of your character. Think about this. In the state of Texas, they have more registered Republicans that are Latino in the state of California. It has nothing to do with someone's ethnic group. What it has everything to do with is the Republican establishment that has driven the state into the ground. Make no mistake, the Democrats haven't been sitting on their hands. They've been working hard. They have outworked, they have outplanned, they have outspent, and they have out-executed the Republicans at almost every single turn. But the California Republican establishment has told us for years, in order to get elected in the state of California, you have to look and sound more like a Democrat. In order to get elected in the state of California, you have to be Republican light. This has given you candidates like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Meg Whitman, Neil Kashkari. This has taken a state, and by the way, let me just be very clear here. 30 years ago, the Republican Party was dramatically more conservative than it is today. We had candidates and elected officials like Bill Dannemeyer, George Dubajan. When we were conservative, we ran the California Assembly. Today, this sort of backward thinking has given us Meg Whitman, Neil Kashkari, and losing races across the state of California. It's about time that your Republican Party stands for our Republican values, our Republican ideals, and you better believe supports our Republican president. What'd he say? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, think about this. How do you turn out 5 million California Republicans if the establishment of the party, if the leadership of the party doesn't even believe in its own message? Think about this. We must rebuild our party. Let me explain. In 1994, we had a majority in the California Assembly. Almost every single cycle from there on in, we've lost seats. Almost every single one. Today, we have 7 congressmen of 53. Today, we have 20 assembly members of 80. We have 11 senators of 40, and we have no statewide office holder except for Ted Gaines, one member of the Board of Equalization. This is today's Republican Party. It is the weakest since 1883. Are we going to stand for that in our state?
No.
Are we going to let them drive us out of our state?
No.
Have our values changed?
No.
What's changed? The hard work has not been done by the California Republican Party. It might amaze you, but you know, the California Republican Party has not done statewide voter registration for well over a decade. Is it any wonder that voter registration declines when you don't do statewide voter registration? As your next chairman of the California Republican Party, job number one is statewide voter registration with a bounty program for every single county, every single Republican, and every single Republican group. We will make more Republicans again in California. Now, how do we do this? How do we do this? It's very simple. 2 words: community engagement. Every single street. There's 5 million California Republicans. By the way, when I talk about these things, I don't come empty-handed, ladies and gentlemen. I have 50,000 volunteers. I have more volunteers than any other elected or former elected in the state of California. We have 5 million Republicans. We have enough Republicans in California to put a Republican street captain on every single street, a Republican precinct captain in every single precinct. Think about this for a moment. Ted Jones on the corner, we send him a box of cards that says Ted Jones, Republican street captain. He is now invested. He's bought in. There is now a statewide bounty program, so he goes and knocks on his neighbor's door and says, look, my name is Ted Jones. I'm a Republican because I believe in these values. Better schools, tough on crime laws and safer communities, less traffic, lower taxes, strong borders, family values. If you agree with any of these ideas, you know what? You might be a Republican too. And here's your voter registration card to change your registration from declined state back to Republican, Democrat to Republican. And maybe he has some success, maybe he doesn't. But everybody on his block now knows that Ted Jones is their Republican guy. He's got a card to prove it. By the way, that box of cards cost us 15 cents. Think about this. Who here has heard about ballot harvesting? Who here has heard about the election fraud of the California Democrats who stole race after race from Republicans in California? Ballot harvesting is now apparently legal. It's the rules of the game now. So you better learn that we better know that we have to learn how to beat the Democrats at their own game. But how do you do it? Because the Democrats have amazing amounts of money. Tom Steyer, Michael Bloomberg, George Soros, all of them pouring money into California to beat you, to take away your elected Republican offices. How do we beat them? Very simple. We beat them on every single street, in every single precinct, across the entire state of California. Ted Jones already knocked on his neighbor's doors. They already know Ted Jones is their local Republican guy down on the corner. So come election time, which is a short 14 months away, the presidential primary, ladies and gentlemen, is March of 2020. That is in 14 months. That primary comes around, and you better believe Ted Jones is coming knocking on the door. And they say, oh yeah, that's Ted Jones, that's my Republican guy, and he's here to collect my Republican ballot. We will have a statewide army to beat the Democrats in ballot harvesting in 2020. How do we pay for all this? It's very simple. Do we go to a billionaire? Do we go to special interests and try to get gifts from them so they have strings on us and they can tell us what to do as a party? No. All of that money will probably continue because, remember, the special interests in California, they're not going away. They are entirely transactional. They will use Republicans if it's to their benefit. As long as we have a viable party, you better believe that money will continue to roll in. But the true lifeblood of the Republican Party is the Republican people. It's all of us 5 million and the millions more of declined state voters that will vote for conservative candidates, given the right candidates and the right set of issues. This is our strength. The way we pay for this, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. It's called the California 100,000. You take $10 a month from 100,000 Californians. I already bring 20,000 donors with me. I have over 20,000 individual donors that have given me $36 on average or more. I bring 20% of that total already to the table. $10 from 100,000 Californians is $1 million a month. Over a 24-month cycle, that's $24 million. That takes the budget of the state party from $34 million to $58 million. an increase of 70%. And we tell every single one of those 100,000 Californians, your $10 goes directly to Republican voter registration to create more Republicans to win more offices. Ted Jones and every other street captain, Republicans Women's Federated, central committees of every single county, every voter registration you get, there's going to be a bounty. You're going to get money from that California 100,000 program directly into your organization to pay for your operations, to expand your membership, to create more Republicans. Does this make sense to you? We take the power that we already have, 5 million Californians, we get $10 from 100,000, we just increased our budget 70%. And think about this, not only do we get statewide voter registration, which means now we're at every single immigration ceremony, we're at every single church picnic, we're at every single street fair, every single community event with those Republican booths, with those statewide bounties being paid again. Keep in mind, this has not been done for well over a decade in the state of California, which is why we used to be in the mid-30s to high 30s in registration, and we're down at 24% today. A viable statewide program proven to empower ordinary Californians to take their state back. But think about this for a moment. We now have a Republican Army. We are now creating more Republicans. By the way, Jonathan, how many more Republicans did the Riverside County Republican Party register in the last 2-year cycle?
30,000 plus.
30,000 new Republicans. Think about this. Now let me ask you the really important question. Jonathan, how much did the state party pay you for those registrations?
Zero.
Not a dime. If there was a statewide bounty program paid for by $10 a month from 100,000 Californians, your county would be flush with cash. And this cash would, guess what, be used to elect more Republicans in Riverside. What do you say? Ladies and gentlemen, it's simple. We've been sold out by the establishment.
Yeah.
There's a couple other people running for chairman. One's a very nice guy, he's a conservative, his name's Steve Frank. He's got some pretty good ideas. I like a lot of them. One of his ideas is to create 14 new committees. I don't think the answer is to create 14 new committees in the Republican Party. The other person is a former insider, the one that collects all the proxies that corrupts the entire voting system at every convention and has for the last 10 years. Paid for by people like Charles Munger, Kevin McCarthy, and others, right? They ran a program called the Trailblazers. Started in 2011. This is Jessica Patterson, ran this program. She's the CEO of Trailblazers since 2011. This program had one purpose, to elect more statewide legislative Republicans. When they started in 2011, there was 28 assemblymen, there was 14 senators. Today, there are 20 assemblymen and 11 senators. Since Trailblazers started, we have seen a decrease of 11 state legislators. I'm just saying, that is your Republican establishment. It gets worse. The numbers have just been scrutinized by a number of people. And it turns out in the last 2-year cycle, from 17 to 18, this organization, the Trailblazers, which was run by Jessica Patterson and some consultants, raised over $700,000. All public record, you can find it online, $700,000. How much money of that $700,000 that was designed to help out Republican legislative candidates, how much of that $700,000 got paid to candidates in the last 2 years? Any guesses?
24,000.
$27,860. How much did Jessica Patterson get paid? $250,000. The consultants took almost $500,000 of this money in total. You wonder why there's no money in Republican politics? Because the establishment, the overpaid consultants have been losing races for years, is not bringing the money back to the counties. Think about this for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. The answer is before us. The answer is 5 million Republicans. The answer is doing what you've already done in Riverside County, registering 30,000 new Republican voters. When we have a statewide voter registration program with a bounty, paid for by small dollar contributors, and keep in mind, all those $10 contributions, they're what they call federal dollars, which means they can all 100% be used for voter registration. This is a program that will not go away. And the beauty of this is not everybody gives $10. Some people give 25, some will give 50, some will give 500, even 1,000. Every single region in the state of California will have a regional development coordinator, just like Stanford University and all of the other big schools have. This development coordinator just is going to look at the donation rolls, and they're going to say, you know what, Jane Smith just gave us $500. How about we give her a call? They're going to say, Jane Smith, thank you so much for your generous donation. My name's Travis Allen from the Republican Party. We have a meeting and we'd love you to come. We have your local officials and they'd like to meet you. Why don't you come on down and be a part of our Republican family? We will establish relationships with these donors. And guess what's going to happen? As we establish those relationships, they give us more money. Ladies and gentlemen, it's built in. It's time we rebuild the Republican Party by Republicans for Republicans. What do you say? Yeah. Job number one, register more Republicans. Organize every street, every precinct across the state of California. Pay for it all with 100,000 Californians in the California 100,000. Number two, what does it matter if we do all this work, if we build this Republican army across the state of California, if the Democrats continue to steal elections? What if we do all that hard work and they steal the elections because we have not prosecuted the election fraud in federal court?
Yes.
Your Republican Party will prosecute this election fraud, 25,000 illegal registrations from the California DMV, including non-citizens voting. This will be prosecuted in federal court all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. And last I checked, we got 2 justices there, and we might be getting a 3rd. What do you say? I got lots of room for questions. Number one, register more Republicans. As part of that, create a Republican army statewide, street by street, across the state of California. A lot of people say, Travis, how do you get the message out? You get the message out when your neighbor's knocking on your door talking about why he's a Republican or why she's a Republican. You get the message out with people like Corinne Rankin in every single community, in front of every single media camera, saying, these are Republican values. This is why our Republican solutions are the correct solutions for California. Corinne Rankin doesn't have to tell you that she's a successful female small business owner, African American from Stockton, because you look at it and you say, oh my gosh, that's an incredible person, and she's giving me a solution. Republicans don't need to dispel the false narrative of the left that there's no diversity in party. We simply show them by empowering our own leaders. Corinne Rankin, Aja Smith, African American veteran, ran for Congress. Antonio Sabato Jr., Hispanic actor out of Los Angeles. Omar Navarro, the list goes on and on and on. I was in the California Assembly from 2006 to 2018. When I left office, I gave my seat to Tyler Diep, now the highest ranking Vietnamese American in the state of California. My seatmate on the assembly floor was Dr. Stephen Choi, the highest ranking Korean American Republican in the state of California. We are diversity. We are the Republican Party, because you better believe our party believes it is the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Number one, voter registration, organize the state. Number two, get rid of the election fraud by prosecuting it aggressively in federal court, the only place where we'll get jurisdiction, and we'll take it all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. And by the way, think about this winning message. Republicans believe in election integrity. It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or a declined state. Everybody wants to make sure that your vote counts. And it's the Republican Party that's going to ensure that happens. Lastly, we build a statewide army. We make sure we finally have honest and fair elections where every vote counts. The Democrats are going to screw up. Just like Gray Davis did in 2003 when he tried to triple our car tax and we had the rolling blackouts, Gavin Newsom is going to do something so foolish that the California people are going to say, you know, we've had enough of you. The Republican Party must be organized, it must be funded, and it must be ready when the opportunity comes to recall statewide Democrats to flip our state. And I will tell you right now, we did in 2003 with Gray Davis. We did in 2018 with Senator Josh Newman, who gave you the gas tax. We have power and strength that has not been utilized in our Republican Party. What we need is leadership with the energy, with the fire, with the passion, with the will to fight and win in our state. What do you say? There's 3 candidates that are running to be your chairman. I will tell you, there's only one person in the race with the experience. 20,000 donors, 50,000 statewide volunteers, 500,000 social media followers. I've been told we have the largest social media following of any legislator, Republican or Democrat, in the nation. Think about this. New messaging. How do you reach millennials? Right there on their phone. I got to tell you, my wife's on Instagram constantly. I tell you, she probably must have the strongest thumbs in the world, because I look over and she's constantly checking out all these stories. This is how you reach people where they get their information. But you do it across every single community. People talk about minority outreach. Those are words that we'll never be talking about, because we don't believe in minorities or majorities. We believe in community engagement. We will be in every single community, from the inner city of Los Angeles to the filthy streets of the Tenderloin in San Francisco, across Riverside, across San Bernardino. Every single neighborhood will have a Republican street captain, which means our Republican message will be across the state of California. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe in fighting and I believe in winning. Our Republican Party has been sold out for too long. Our Republican Party has been disempowered for too long. We have a choice, a very simple choice. We just suffered the worst loss that we have seen in 40 years in the governor's race. In the governor's race, our result was the worst result since 1978. Our election result in Congress was the worst relative result since 1883. Republicans are at their lowest point since the early 1880s in California. And think about this, Republicans have strength in midterm elections, right? In general elections that are coming up in just 14 months, that's where all the Democrats show up. If 18 was bad, imagine what 2020 looks like if your Republican Party won't stand and fight for you. And guess what? Right after 2020 is 2021. That's the decade-long redistricting process. Every single 10 years after the census, they redraw the lines, and you better believe that Democrats will have operatives in every single room to carve Republican districts out of existence. Your Republican Party must start now. It must start today. It must rebuild. It must empower every single one of you to take back your neighborhood, your city, your county, your state. This is your Republican Party. It's about time it fights for you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Travis Allen. Let's take back California. Let's rebuild our Republican Party. And let's win again in California.